Modern role-playing games didn't just arise from the digital ashes. No, they stand on the shoulders of adventures like Ultima 7, Eye of the Beholder, Baldur's Gate, and Planescape Torment. Developer Obsidian Entertainment, well known for RPGs ranging from Knights of the Old Republic 2 to Alpha Protocol, knows its history, and with Pillars of Eternity, it hopes to recapture a piece of it. Whether or not Pillars of Eternity has the same magic as Baldur's Gate, the game which it clearly looks upon with reverence, isn't yet clear. Several members of the game's development team showed off the game to me recently, and it only took a single glance to see that Pillars of Eternity is based on BioWare's classic. It doesn't take place in the Dungeons & Dragons universe, but Pillars nonetheless looks and feels like its inspiration. The environments have that hand-drawn grittiness that gave the Infinity Engine games an air of fantastical despair. Selected party members are identified with pulsing blue circles under their feet, and combat is in that pause-and-play style that serves as Baldur's Gate's signature. As I watched Obsidian play Pillars of Eternity, it was hard not to shake the concern that stayed with me throughout the demo, that this was not a game standing on the shoulders of giants, but one relying on slavish devotion. It didn't help that I'd just played the excellent Divinity Original Sin, an RPG that uses its inspirations as a springboard rather than as an exact mold. Does Pillars of Eternity use old mechanics to say something old? And if so, is that necessarily a bad thing? Pillars of Eternity project director Josh Sawyer doesn't think so. We chatted a bit about the Baldur's Gate legacy and the ways Obsidian plans to differentiate their game from its forebears. And for Sawyer, a big part of that is rethinking how classes function. For instance, rogues are the most offensively powerful weapon-based characters. That's a change from 2nd and 3rd edition D&D, where they are mostly skill-based. The demo included Pillars of Eternity's character creation, which allowed me to get a good look at the game's classes in addition to its fantasy races. Eora is an original world, and while some of its races are familiar enough, a few of them captured my imagination. The godlike race in particular intrigues me. The godlike I saw looked to be wearing a tall, pointed headpiece made of tendons and cartilage, though apparently this is no headpiece, but rather a part of the godlike's anatomy. The gameplay I saw was comforting and familiar as the barbarian and his companions ventured into the nearby ruins. There was one modern twist, however. Events were described as they occurred by handsome hand-drawn story panels. Story decisions aren't relegated just to these panels, however. Branching conversation trees also play a role in the continuing story, and like with most games, some of those options might be available only if you've reached a certain threshold in skills like honesty, diplomacy, and passion. But while you can usually assume that unlocked options are always the right answer in other role-playing games, that's not always the case in Pillars of Eternity. You'll need to pay attention to the conversation as well as to the context it appears in. The demo closed when the adventuring party emerged into a nearby ruins where a giant whirring magical device awaited them. I was left wondering if Pillars of Eternity will refresh role-playing traditions or simply replicate them, and whether pure replication is a bad thing at all. Nevertheless, I have faith, not just in the strength of the Infinity Engine template, but in Obsidian's ability to use that template to craft a journey worth taking.